Another season in the books for the New York Football Giants as they end up losing in Week 18, 20-13 to the Philadelphia Eagles, bringing their record to 3-14 on the season. And I understand they're losing the season with a loss, or ending the season with a loss. But they're really ending the season with a win because the New York Football Giants have moved up from the number 4 pick in the 2025 NFL Draft from pick number 4 to pick number 3. And I want to say thank you to Gerard Mayo. Thank you to the New England Patriots. The gift that keeps on giving to the New York Football Giants is that team up in New England. Eat your clam chowder and shut up. The official order for the New York Football Giants and the 2025 NFL Draft. The Tennessee Titans, they are on the clock as they own the number 1 pick in this year's upcoming draft. The Cleveland Browns own the number 2 overall pick. Your New York Football Giants with the number 3 pick. The New England Patriots, they fall from pick number 1 to pick number 4. I know how you feel. We just did it last week. And the Jacksonville Jaguars pick at number 5. The New York Giants are almost guaranteed either Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders, or Travis Hunter. There will also be an option to select Mason Graham, the interior defensive lineman from Michigan. There's a world they can go out and get the corner, Will Johnson from Michigan. The Giants are in a prime spot. Not the best spot, should have been number 1, but they are within striking distance to get the next franchise quarterback. We'll talk more about this game and my thoughts on Brian Daboll. Major reports are coming out on his future from Jay Glazer and Adam Schefter. But before we do, I want to hear from you. Who should the Giants pick number 3 in the 2025 NFL Draft? Ken, you're 100% right. I'm better than that. Who should the Giants pick at number 3? Let me know in the chat. If I was the general manager of the New York Football Giants, with the 3rd pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the New York Football Giants select Cam Ward, quarterback, Miami. That is my number 1 player on my big board for the New York Football Giants. I think he's the best quarterback in this class. I think he has the mental makeup to play in the sports media capital of the world. And I believe he can be the quarterback that gets the Giants back on track and get them to being a great organization again one day. Cam Ward and Malik Neighbors could be the best duo in the NFC East. And there's some strong competition there. It's going to be a long, long offseason. But my dream scenario is Cam Ward falls to number 3, the Giants select them. My current prediction of how the draft goes, the Titans have the number 1 pick. I think they trade down with the Las Vegas Raiders. I think they move up to 1. I think they will take Shedeur Sanders. I think the Cleveland Browns will take Travis Hunter. And the New York Giants are gift-wrapped Cam Ward. Early prediction on how that works. We're going to talk about Brian Daboll and the rumors and the latest buzz around him keeping or not keeping his job. First, though, I got to give a major shout-out to our proud sponsor, GameTime. Shout out to GameTime, our proud sponsor of today's show. You can get the best seats for the lowest prices guaranteed. Giant season may be over, but the NFL playoffs are live, and you can go to an NFL playoff game and get $20 off your first purchase where terms do apply by getting your tickets through GameTime. I've been to a playoff game before, and I've had a lot of fun doing it, and I'm going to be looking for some last-minute tickets and the best seats for the lowest price guaranteed for the playoffs with GameTime. And I know if I use that promo code ChatSports, you're going to get $20 off your first purchase where terms do apply. Views from the seats, last-minute tickets and flash deals, and lowest price guaranteed. More just football games, though. Go to NFL playoffs, but you also go to NBA games. You go to concerts. You go to theater events, and so much more. If you use that all-in pricing feature as well as the Game Time Picks feature, you are guaranteed to get the best seat for the lowest price guaranteed. Shout out to Game Time. It's the only app I use to get tickets. Download it. Use the promo code ChatSports, and you'll get $20 off your first purchase where terms do apply. All of that information is clickable down in the comments and description of today's show. All right. The future of Brian Daboll and Joe Schoen. Tomorrow is Black Monday. Tomorrow is the day where a lot of NFL organizations decide the future of their head coach and their general manager. I have been told maybe the Giants wait until Tuesday or Wednesday of this week, but we've already got some major reports coming out. And let's start first with Jordan Schultz. Jordan Schultz, who covers the NFL, tweeted out Sunday morning, sources, the futures of both Giants GM Joe Schoen and head coach Brian Daboll remain uncertain headed into Week 18. Multiple sources indicate that owner John Mara is evaluating them separately. Exploratory calls and feelers about potential scenarios if one were retained and the other let go have happened in recent days, I'm told. AKA, the Giants are seeing if there are certain coaches out there that would come take this job if Brian Daboll is fired. Cough, cough, Mike Vrabel. So the Giants have not made a decision on Brian Daboll and Joe Schoen, but according to Jordan Schultz, exploratory calls and feelers about a potential next coach have already been made. Dan Duggan of The Athletic, in my opinion, the most plugged-in Giants beat reporter, the most honest, straight shooting. He says, I'm confident Schoen will be back. I had thought Daboll was a dead man walking, but I've changed my mind this week. We'll get answers soon enough. Dan Duggan says he thinks both Brian Daboll and Joe Schoen are safe, as does Jay Glazer, who I think is the most accurate and honest. I don't even want to call him a media member. Kind of is, but he covers the NFL at large, and he is the most, I would say, credible of anyone in the NFL. He was the first person and only person to have the reports on Daboll and Wink Martindale feuding last year. He says, I think Daboll and Schoen are safe. So you got Dan Duggan saying it, you got Jay Glazer saying it, and you got head honcho of ESPN, Adam Schefter, saying it as well. Sunday morning on the ESPN pregame show, Adam Schefter went through every single coach that is on the hot seat. And he said they are safe or not. And as you could say, he says he thinks Brian Daboll is leaning to safe. Quote, Giants, this is what he said, Giants fans aren't going to be happy about it, but Brian Daboll and the GM Joe Schoen both are safe right now. So we'll see. I think we will go to bed tonight not knowing an answer, but I think we'll wake up tomorrow morning and we'll have a more clear picture of what the Giants are going to do at the head coach and GM spot. I also want to add this. Pretty Ricky, if you know who he is, you know who he is. If you don't, he is I don't know what he is, but he calls himself the People's Insider. He's an account on Twitter that is very good at reporting news before it happens. He said that he thinks Brian Daboll and Joe Schoen are going to be fired. So tick tock. It's going to be very fun next 12 hours. I do want to say this about Brian Daboll. I don't think he's done a good enough job at things he was supposed to do to keep his job. I will understand if the Giants fire him. I will also understand if the Giants keep Brian Daboll. At the end of the day, this is all I will say. Fire Brian Daboll and Joe Schoen. Keep both or fire both is kind of where I'm at. I don't think the Giants are going to fire Joe Schoen. There's a 50% chance they fire Brian Daboll. And to be honest with you, there's not that many coaches I would take over Brian Daboll. And that's not to say he's done a great job. The crop of talent isn't all that much. But you see the stats on screen. Last 2 years, the Giants have been bottom of the league, and in my opinion, the most important stats for an offensive coach. Red zone TD rate, third down conversion rate, fourth down conversion rate, and 2-point conversion rate. Giants are at the bottom of the league in those statistical categories in 2023 and 2024. But I do like the idea of Brian Daboll working with a young rookie quarterback. I love the idea, to be honest with you, of Brian Daboll and Cam Ward working together. I think they are a match made in heaven. I really, really do. I don't know. We broke down the report from Jeremy Schultz, who covers the NFL. Says the Giants have made exploratory calls to other head coach candidates already. Let's talk about maybe the top 10 coaches out there that are candidates. In no order, these are just 10 guys I'm hearing a lot of buzz about. Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions. Mike Vrabel, the ex-head coach of the Tennessee Titans. Brian Flores, the current defensive coordinator for the Minnesota Vikings. Cliff Kingsbury, the offensive coordinator for the Washington Commanders. And Aaron Glenn, former NFL player and defensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions. Joe Brady, the offensive coordinator for the Buffalo Bills. Liam Cohen, the offensive coordinator for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Pete Carroll, ex-head coach of the Seattle Seahawks. Anthony Weaver, the current defensive coordinator for the Miami Dolphins. And Kellen Moore, the OC for Philadelphia. Those are 10 names that I've heard a lot. And there was a report that came out this morning that teams are interested in trading for Kevin O'Connell. It is going to be a juicy, juicy offseason. Before we bounce out here, I want to ask this question. What should the Giants do with Brian Daboll? You just saw 10 guys. You've seen 3 years of Brian Daboll. What should the Giants do with Brian Daboll? Type F for fire, type K for keep, get your votes in, and let me know. Make sure you are following me on social media. First place you're going to hear about any news over the next 24 hours is over on my social media. So give me a follow. @MarshallGreen_ on Twitter, @MarshallGreen_ on Instagram.